This is National Chess Master Rats. I'm giving a simul. I'm getting game started now. I've got a few challenges out that haven't been accepted. I've got a list here of all the people that are signed up in the order they're there, and I'm scrolling down my friends list, which you can't see. It's off to the side of what I'm recording. And I'm just basically looking at who's in live chess and seeing if they're, on my friends list and seeing who's here. Okay, this guy's on the list. I'll send him a challenge. Okay. Jeppy. Now let's see. They've improved the simul thing, and now it clicks to games for you where it's your move. Okay, he's copying me, kind of. He hasn't castled yet. I'll just keep following my system. And I'll explain this King's Indian attack. Essentially, the first 10 moves are the same, so it's an easy system to learn. It leads to a totally equal game for black, but that's okay. You know, black's going to equalize against anything you play, so you avoid a lot of your opponent's preparation. Let's see, my move here, he played there. I usually go here next. Here's the first several moves, and now I go here, and it looks like it's my move there. Okay, now here. Okay. I've got challenges out that haven't been accepted yet. Hopefully they will be. I've been issuing challenges and waiting for them to be accepted. Friends, who else? Right, Bubba's not on the list. I don't want to miss anybody. I know I've sent out challenges that haven't been accepted yet. Maybe I should alphabetize this list that I have. Might make it easier to find. Sunny Jan Paul, I sent a challenge to. Kevin's not on the list. Kaitan, do I recognize that name? No, don't recognize that name. Who else is here? Lab 8 isn't on the list. Lunik is. Menasir. Oops. Okay, let's see. D3. Okay, now it's my move here. C3. Okay, now it's my move here. Queen C2. See, these are easy moves to play. I don't even have to think. That's the fun part about this King's Indian. And I used to keep this bishop on G5 back on C1. And if you look in the forums of the video lessons group, there's a topic, my game's 11/29/2013. I played an international master and actually got a very winnable game and blundered it away. And I discovered later that I could just trade that bishop off and everything would be hunky-dory fine. Now, I only have a few games accepted. See, I don't see King. Let's go down the list here. Let's scroll up. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Atija is not here. Eric is not here. Wait, let me scroll up a little bit. Okay, peace-loving anarchist, not here. Let's just go through a thorough check here. There. Now I take it off. Okay, now I take that off. See, just get rid of it. I don't need it. I don't need that bishop. Okay. Paristar, is Paristar here? Nope. Okay, let's. Kara Piper, nope, don't see her. Lucky, nope. Nope, don't see Xan. Let's see, I know it's my move over on the screen. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anybody because I don't want to miss anybody. And some of these players are new to the group and like to know more about you, but right now I'm just trying to find out who didn't make it, who needs a challenge. Is Chiomo here? Nope. Analyze this. Herbie? Nope, he's not here. Okay, Isaac S? Nope, he's not here. JL Khan? Nope. Apex? Nope. Yeah, these people aren't here. Jet Fighter, I sent a challenge to. I remember that. I think don't know if he accepted or not, but I sent him a challenge. Now he's not in here. Well, sorry, you can't play me if you're not here. I did send you a challenge, Jet Fighter 13. Okay, So he decided to leave. Well, we'll see if you come back. I'll remember that. Fehu returns. Nope. Potcher. Nope. Let's see. Chess fan isn't here. Lycian. Is Lycian here? It looks like I got a. What did I get here? I heard a click. I mean, oh, new game. Jeppy got here. Okay, good. Knight F3. He accepted. Okay. Make sure I'm not missing any games. I don't want any of these games to be aborted by mistake. Okay. Potcher wasn't here. Nick's not here. Yaroslav not here. Jim Paul. I sent a challenge to JM Paul. 320. Let's see. Apex. He wasn't here. Chess fan 19 not here. Mate. Nope. Lycian not here. I can play this move while I'm looking. Okay. Redman. Is Redman here? Nope. Okay. Redman is not here. Let's see my move over here. I'll just play G3. Okay. Knight BD2. Knight BD2. Wait, he's on this pawn. Okay. Can't always play exactly the right order, the same order every time. Okay, now. I think pretty much everybody, I just want to make sure. Kixel, Romanek I started a game with. Who else? Mike. Very Dead, is he on the list? Is Very Dead on the list? Yeah, Very Dead is on the list. So I'll send him an invite. Challenge to a game. And I think I got everybody. Okay, you've been challenged. You declined my challenge. Okay, well, if you decline my challenge, you don't get a game. Okay. Anyway, it's a little confusing when you have 50, 60 names on the list and you're trying to get everybody. I have a bigger list than I have friends here, so clearly a lot of these people aren't here. Okay, my move here now. I've got D5 under control. Knight C4 with the idea of putting it on the E3 just to play watchdog over D5. Okay, now my move here. All right, this is all pretty straightforward. Let's see what's happening here. He didn't play anything yet. Okay, Romanek kicked it. Wait a minute, what's it doing? I had one board that brought another one up. Okay, don't be retarded on me. Okay, let's see. He hasn't moved yet. Good, he's taking his time. Okay. Now this knight goes to E3. And let's see what's happening here. His move. Now it's my move. Okay. So, I've pretty much set up the system, and now it's a matter of trying to coordinate the forces. Now let's see. I can play A4, but that A6 takes. I can take with the rook, takes with the queen. That's kind of even. Essentially, I kind of play a waiting game here, cat and mouse. Let's see. Might he open the D file later with D5? If it's his move, D5, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop takes. Might weaken F3. I play a lot of chess, based on instinct. Then you have to verify the tactics. I can kind of tell what I want to do here. See here, just to talk about this particular position here, everything is fully developed of whites except where to put the rooks. So, okay, Susupidi did sign up, so if he gets into live chess, I will send him a challenge. Okay, so I can move the A rook, and he takes he takes on a2, and I play b3 and trap the critter. Let's see. The question is where do I want my king rook. I'll put him on e1, just in case the e file opens up. Okay, now my move here. Now the thematic move is d5 or e4. That's the 10th move. Okay. Now let's see. Now I castle. Okay. Now a6. Okay, this move weakens the black position. It doesn't develop anything. So I just continue with my development. Okay, now what's he trying to do? Trade off my light squared bishop? Well, you're more than welcome to it. Not a good strategy because, see, this bishop isn't any good of mine. And it's just one of the things about this opening. Often I bring it into play. Later I buy f1, and if d5 and d takes e, the bishop suddenly has a diagonal it springs to life on. So if he wants to take it, he can. Let's see. Now let's see. What I'm saying, rook ad1. If he plays bishop takes e2, bishop b3, his bishop is trapped. So this develops my rook and lets him do what I want him to do. Okay, now what's happening here? It's his move. There's a click over here. Now d3. Okay. I want to make sure I'm not missing any moves. First time I tried a simul last year, I lost almost every game on time. I was playing 60-30 then and had over 20 games going. Okay, did play bishop h3. So, what do I want to do next? How about if I move a rook up? That preserves the option of doubling on one of two files. Okay, well, what did it do there? What if I actually played rook d2 and it dropped? Okay. Let's see. Queen c2 is the move. Okay, he took. Yeah, I did play rook d2. Okay. Rook c8. He's playing a little too quick here as black. You see, he get 30-second increment, and he's gained 6.5 minutes on the clock. Now, how do I get another knight into d5? Well, the answer is I don't. I could play knight h4. Let's see. Trying to find a good outpost for these pieces. Let's see. Knight h4. You know, one thing about this rook might be misplaced, but I don't want to necessarily play f4 and activate this bishop. It's kind of against my theme. I want to try to squeeze my opponent. So, how about if, let's see, but I could play rook ad1, idea of d4, but then I'm running into a pin because my queen's on the same diagonal. Don't want to play d4. I want him to play d5 and take, but he could also play d5 and push. So, let's see. This knight doesn't have much scope on f3. h4 invites him to weaken himself by g5, although you can't expect a strong player to do that. Here's another idea. h4. h4 takes g5 away from him. Takes h4 away from me. My knight could go to h2 and f1 and be ready to hop in. I'll just go ahead and try that. Okay, now my move here, we take it. Okay, now my move here, bring the bishop out. Okay, now let's see, played this. Now, what's stopping e4? Anything? No. Okay, Sir Speedy, I got to send him an invite. Challenge to a game. And that one will be done. I don't know if any latecomers came in, and they could message me if they got here late, I suppose. Okay, now what's happening here? Okay, I took, it's his move. He's still thinking, which is good. Knight g4. Okay, what's the knight threatening? Nothing. So this is a time when I can play my knight to d5. And then if he plays knight f6, he's basically lost some time. And meanwhile, maybe I can eliminate that knight on g4, and I'll have firm control over d5. I'll just put it there just on general principle. Okay, rook c8. Okay, so I've played my first 10 moves of this system, and it's time to find a move. Now, rook e1 gets it on the e-file, although I'm going to take back with my pawn. It's better to preserve d1 for the queen rook. Okay, now, can I play e4 here? Pawn takes, I kick his bishop. Yep, I can play it. Okay, this game just started, and we got him in. Okay, castles. Is it my turn? So this is a chance for me to trade off his knight. Let's see, knight h2. Now if he plays knight f6, knight takes, bishop takes, knight f1, with the idea of getting it to e3 and d5. Let's try that. See if it works. You know, it's basically all these games are even. I have no advantage whatsoever, but I don't have a disadvantage, and that's what's fun about this opening. Okay, good. He played there. Now, let's see. I could take his knight with my knight, and he takes back with the pawn, and my knight's permanently entrenched on d5. I don't have to take it. I mean, it's not. He gets some pressure on the f-file. He'll have the f3 square. I think. Let's see. f3. Ooh, I'm getting my queen. My king side pawn's weak. Knight takes h2. King takes. If he takes here, I take back. And I've got the f-file covered. I can always swing a rook over, but I've got this permanent outpost for my knight. You know, there's a rule: don't make exchanges that improve your opponent's pieces. Let him make exchanges that improve yours. So I don't want to activate this rook and give him the f3 square. I'll just kick it out. And let's see, does he have anything I should worry about? Not necessarily. Oh, he took with the pawn. Okay, that basically gives it a double pawn till he can get rid of it. Now I want to give up the bishop here. And that's the theme. And he took, okay. Now, okay, castle here. Okay, what's he playing? Bishop f6. Is there a threat with e4 I should worry about? Let's make sure there isn't. Just preventative maintenance. Okay, I thought about this, but I didn't mention it. This gives me a chance to play g4. And well, I'm locking up the king side. I could end up getting exposed there, but that's half the fun in chess. You know, when suddenly somebody comes up with a creative idea you didn't plan on, and you get to hunker down and play defense. So all the games, in my opinion, are dead even. Let me do another look and see if anybody is sitting in here that I need to send a challenge to. Now, they're always welcome to send me a tell. King f7. Okay, so he's going to try to attack me. Yeah, if he plays g5, so the one weak square in my position is h4. If he plays g5, I shove by. If he plays h5, then if I push by with g5, does his queen have any entry points? No, my king covers h3, my pawn covers g4 and f5, and I can switch to conducting operations on the king side. Or, I mean, sorry, on the queen side. So I don't mind locking up the entire king side because I have a positional advantage on the queen side. So I'll bluff here and play rook g2. Let's see what he does. Okay, f5 was expected. You know, he gets a double pawn, but he gets rid of it. And I just follow through with my theme. Okay, here's an interesting line. Now, objectively, I don't want to exchange on d4. And the reason is this pawn on c3 is my anchor. It it keeps him out of b4 and d4, and that's the whole key. Black can never access these squares. So, pushing c4 is a mistake. For instance, he'll take. So he's got the lineup on the c file good. I don't expect the c file to open. Let's see. I can tempo the queen with bishop f4, but then he plays e5, and that gives me some control over f5. That could be good for me. I'll come back to this. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything critical. Okay, rook h8. So what's he going to do? Okay, so he's planning h5, but I'm just going to shove by with g5, and his queenside attack is kaput. Okay, he has an even game, though. Everybody has an even game. That's the problem with this opening. You don't win with it unless you can outmaneuver your opponent. Okay, bishop d7. Let's see. c5 looks like a nice square because of this weakness on a6. Can I get a knight there? Yeah, I probably can. Let's see. Knight b3 threatens knight c5. So you just kind of learn some instinct here. It also clears the d file, so I can stick a rook on it. Normally I don't play knight b3 in a position like this, but this induces another weakness with b3. Okay, we let him take, so I got to find a move. He's not necessarily going to take, and I don't want to take on f6 until he plays h6. I want him to spend a tempo. Let's see. Oh gosh, a4 anchors. Let's see, if I play knight c4, he plays b5, so maybe a4 is my move here. a4, can I get the knight on c4? Weakens b3, but I don't think he's really poised to take advantage of that, so a4 is the move here. Okay, my turn here. He castled, right? Now I follow through with what I'm doing. Knight d2. Okay, g6. Bishop g5. Same old stuff. Okay, yeah. Is it my move here? No. Hey, it's my move in nowhere. Look at this. I'm in control. I've actually got time on my clock. Okay, queen c8. So now he's trying to trade off the fianchetto bishop. So I play knight c5, and if he does, he's going to lose his pawn on b7. Okay. Was it my move here? Yeah, I didn't move here yet. h5. What if I play h5? h5, if takes, I'm on a half-open file with pressure. What did I weaken? I'm going to do it. See if he'll lock up the queen side. You see, h4 is a little weak. I'd have to bring my king up. So h5 takes, queen d8, king h3, and queen checks. I'm going to swing this rook over to h1. Okay, there he drops a pawn. Okay, so he doesn't have a checkmate, so bishop takes. Okay, bishop g7, now knight d2. And then I grab this pawn. Now, can he cut my knight's retreat off? No, he can't. Okay, so I think I want a pawn. Okay, now, is their move everywhere? Thank goodness. Okay, I'm going to look at the list, see if I have any late arrivals that I recognize. Guys, if I've missed you, message me. I really apologize if I didn't. I think I did pretty good getting everybody's game up. Was Nimzo on the list? I recognize the name. There's a few people with Nimzo in their name. Jam Paul left. You had a challenge. I did challenge you. You were here. I guess you couldn't make it. It's unfortunate. But let's see. So I have all these even positions here. And I'm glad they're taking their time, because time is the most important thing in chess, and you only get so much of it. And if you play quickly, you don't always find the best move. And I have to play these games quickly. Really, this is almost too many games for me, but I'm trying to provide a service and give everyone a game. And then they get annotations from me. And I didn't have a chance to eat breakfast today, so I'm going to be nibbling on some Trader Joe's chocolate chip brownie and oat bars. Oh man, these are delicious. Okay. I got everybody thinking. Their clocks are ticking. Okay, so let's see. I have 84 minutes there. I got plenty of time. 92 minutes here. I have 78 minutes there. I have 82 minutes there. What else do I have over here? I have more games. How many games do I even have going? I don't know. 6? 5 or 6. Let's see. So, wants to attack my king. Okay. Now, let's talk about this objectively. He's weakening his position, but at the same time, he's could be creating some threats. Now, he wants to displace my knight. That's the first thing we look at. Now that means my knight wouldn't have control over e5 and d5. So, or e5 and d4. So let's see. My knight on c5 is a little out of play. I need to get him back in the game. I need to develop my queen rook. Once he plays g5, my knight can go to d2, and the hatches are battened down, so to speak. It's going to take him a long time to get a rook to h5 to threaten a mate, when this knight's kicked out of there. It's going to take him a while to pressure f2. So the question is, when he kicks my knight, do I want it to go back to g2? And eventually e1 to g2. So one move I can play is rook d1. This just clears g2 for my knight and gives me an option. You can play a lot of chess on instinct. See, I can bring my knight back, but then he kicks g4, and I don't really. Well, I have the option of going d1, but then my rook's cut in. But then again, that's okay. Maybe I don't want the rook on d1. So this is how you evaluate. You compare and contrast. You think of the ideas. I don't even know if I want the knight on g2, but I know from g2 it'll get to f4 because his g4 push would have taken that away. And when he pushes g4, that also takes g4 away from his knight. Unless he's planning to follow g4, knight back, h5, then h4. Well, that's kind of slow, and I'll have another defender over here. I think I'll bring the knight back. You never know when you need him. Okay, my turn here. Now queen c2. We're still in the book. Now I take. Still in the book. Okay, what's he playing? He's planning to double his rooks. Well, guess what? My king's running. Okay. All right. Do I want to play king g1? Yeah, I do. Okay, king g1. Now he took. Now I continue with my plan. c3. Okay, everybody's move. How many games am I playing? Let's see. Let's try to find that out once and for all. Sir Speedy is last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Romanek is 5. I'm playing 6 games. Okay, well, not as many as I wanted, but these guys are getting their games. Okay, so his move here. Okay, he played a5. Now that gives me a hole on b5. Okay, that's the first thing you want to notice. You can no longer cover this square. I can get a knight there. Knight c4 to a3 to b5. Not saying it's what I want to do, but the whole purpose of playing a4 was to be able to play knight c4. Again, I leave the c3 pawn where it's at. Okay, castle. Now queen c2. Okay. Let's see. He doubled his rooks. So now we put a pawn on a white square and invite him to trade. And let's see, rook e1. Now, I don't want to take on e5 or f5. See, don't make an exchange that develops your opponent's pieces. Let him make an exchange that develops yours. So I'll just develop my rook. And besides, I want him to take on e4 because I'll take back with my pawn and control f5 from his bishop. Okay, so that much is settled. Okay, he locked up. He locked up the queen side. Now, he can't do anything, so I'll just bring my king back and await developments. See? Now my rooks are free to run back. And he ran a rook over there. Okay, so maybe he's trying to lock up the entire position. Well, it's not that easy. You can't play a5 or a6 because I have knight b6. Can this bishop on g8 ever get into play? Yes, if it comes here, 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 and here. That's a long way off. A4, you can take it. And then I bring my rook over to a1. It means I'll take it back. And I can play queen b3, threatening discoveries, but a4 invites a6, and you have to be careful. All of a sudden, you blunder. He might play b4 here. No, like take and at least win a pawn or get control of the file. With the king side locked up, a4 is a good move. Okay, so what did he do? He dropped his bishop back to... No, he pushed his pawn. Okay. That's fine. Now, I want control of b5 since he gave it to me. And I'm going to take it. Okay. So, let's see. Rook b8. What's he trying to do? Run this pawn? Well, I just go through the system. The first 10 moves are the same, 11 if you take on f6. And here we go again. There's the 11th move. We just follow the system. Okay, now I swing this rook over. And I'm going to win the pawn, and he's got a target. I mean, I've got a target. I'm not going to take your bishop. Why would I take your bishop with my wonderful knight? Okay, he's trying to get his bishop into play. He's playing blitz chess. Okay, you're gaining time on your clock. You can't do that. Let's see, now do I want to play queen b3 at some point? Gains a tempo and allows queen a3, maybe piling up on the rook. I mean the rook pawn. Okay, now d4. So, again, we follow the same principle as before. He's given me c4. I don't want to play knight c4 necessarily and allow b5, so I'll just follow through with a4 here. Okay, so he put his bishop there. He's hoping I will take it. Well, I'm not going to take it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attack it. Let's see. No, we can't play knight d7. See, I'm not good at one movers. Knight d3 gets my knight, starts getting my knight back in play and threatens to win a piece. Go from there. Okay, now there he took. He kicked h6, so now I take it. My move, he played d4 too. Now, do I want to take in this position? I rarely want to take, but you always have to check these things out. If he takes on c3, this is fine with me, but I do need to make sure d3 doesn't accidentally fall. Well, he can't conveniently pile up on it, much like in the Sveshnikov Sicilian and other Sicilians. Black accepts a backward pawn on d3 or d6 has a pawn on e5. I've got the same pawn structure with colors reversed, but white can never win that d6 pawn, or at least easily. So d4 gives me c4. I could put my knight there. I think I've done it in similar situations. And if he takes it, well, so what? The question is, where do I want this rook? On D1 or E1? I'm going to put him on D1 just in case. Just in case I can get a D5 break if he takes D takes C, B takes C, and then D4. Okay, so he put his bishop on F6. And now I go tickle his queen. Okay, consider your queen tickled. Did you lose a piece here? Knight takes E5. Okay. He played bishop E6. Okay. One drawback with, I mentioned earlier, these A4 weakens B3. I've got to make sure he can't use that square. Well, I've got it covered. My knight on B3 covers it. And my queen on B3 covers it. I'm going to play like I did in the other. Well, I want to play rook D1 here, similar to the other game. Let's follow them just for comparison's sake, so we can compare to see how they go. Now, do I want to play knight D6? Knight D6 forces rook B8 or rook C7 unless he wants to give me a pawn, although my knight might not get out of there. It's a good outpost he gave me. Do I want to take on D4 now? Well, it gives him B4. That's the problem. But, might not be a problem. But then again, it might be. Let's see. I have C4 here, sitting there. I have another knight. Let's get him over there. Knight D2. See, these moves just come to me eventually. Okay, bishop G4. Move to develop peace. He's got a pin, but I'm not too worried about that. Now the question is, how can I use this knight? I can move the rook to E1, but that seems a waste. He might just play back bishop E6, but I've gained a move. But since he's let me play this knight, giving me the C4 square, do I want to play it? Now, knight C4. What if he plays B5? Well, let's play A4 first. We're kind of following this theme, so let's cover this theme in a lot of different situations. Now, as I said, I think I win a piece, and I just have to make sure I don't get checkmated. Okay, now what am I doing here? Let's go double up the rooks because we can. Okay, F6. Where's he going? Well, let's see. His plan is to play rook F7 followed by rook G7 followed by rook G5 followed by rook H5 and queen H2 mate. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's long ways off. How about if I threaten to trap his queen? Knight D3 threatens knight F4. Okay, his move here. Is it his move? Yes. I don't have to move in any game. It's rare. I guess I could have handled more games. Well, anyway, nobody's sending me a message like "let me in." Okay, queen C3. Did he give up a pawn here? Rook takes A7 check. Forces rook takes. Then rook takes A7. Comes from moving too fast. Okay. Rook takes, check. What am I missing? Rook takes, then rook takes. Okay. Bishop E6. I'm tempted to play A4 again, just like in all the other games. Usually, a lot of times A4 is not a move I use. I've used it, and sometimes that B3 square just bites me. And if you want to get good at chess, you fight over squares, not pieces, because accessing a square will eventually lead to when you fight over pieces with your tactics. So to be thematic for this, I'm just gonna play A4. Now the alternative is, how can I get my king knight to E3? Well, to get to E3, it's got to get to F1. To get to F1, well, D2's out because I've got a knight there. G3's out. So I could play H4 here, although that weakens my position. H4, knight H2, knight F1, knight E3. Wow, that's a lot of maneuvering. I'm going to stick with A4 and keep it thematic. Okay, bishop g4. Now, let's see. Where's he threatening to put that bishop? Anywhere I should worry about? No. And a lot of times I maintain a solid pawn structure. This does weaken e3, though. Now I don't want to play f3. Let's go with what I was planning. Get the knight to c4. Okay. Now a6. Okay. There's that c5 square again. Is he trying to play b5? I don't know. Is he? Well, let's just put, if I put the knight on c4, I could put the pawn on a5 too. That restrains his pawns, a5. And I don't think it's, I don't think he can attack it much. Knight c4, b5, a takes, a takes. My knight has to run. It can go to a5, but that trades pieces. I don't want to trade pieces. Okay, a5. We'll try it out. Okay, what's he doing? Oh, it's my move. Okay, he missed the fact that I can play this and trap his queen. Okay. He brought his bishop to d6. Okay, so I've got these two wonderful knights. What do I do next for an encore? Now I've got e3 covered. I could consider f3. Let's see. Even game. Nothing but even games. I think one of them I'm winning. Let's see. Two of them I think I'm winning because I'm winning a pawn and one. Let's see. Knight. At some point, I need to open the position up elsewhere. I've got about all I want on the king side or queen side. Let's try this clever move. Rook f1. The idea is to play f4. A lot of times I don't play f4 because it activates the dark squared bishop, but I don't see it being so active here. Could I play f4 right now? Yes, but he might take it. And then my pawn structure gets a little weak. Let's see. I've done about as much a demonstration as I can on the queen side, and the knights are doing what they can do. Let's switch over. Let's see what Carlos does. Okay, he moved his rook. Now knight c4. That's the theme. Okay, he gave up his queen. Now which way to take? I'll take with the king. Now I'll take with the rook. I don't need my king to come out. Okay. Let's see. Bishop g7 was his last move. So I'll play knight c4 here. Knight c4, if he takes, I take back. I've got double pawns. And I've accepted double pawns here, c3 and c4, because, you get something for it. You get a lot of square control. I'll just play it and see what happens. Okay. Rook d6. How about if I play e5? No. e5, pawn takes. I don't have queen g6 check. Let's play rook d1 and offer him a trade. Okay, so he took. Now I take. I'm a pawn up. He's got to get a check, meaning he needs to move his king. Now, if his bishop wasn't there, I'd have rook e7 mate. How do I get rid of that bishop? Well, we start by offering a queen trade. Queen a4. Okay. Now do I play e5? e5, pawn takes. No, you didn't get it. Let's go down to the 7th rank. Okay. Now he's put his queen there. Let's see. I'll just centralize this rook. Okay. He wants my pawn. Well, I want his king. Can't have my pawn. Okay. Now the queens are off. I've got a pawn ahead and a good good knight versus a bad bishop. Let's see, if I play rook A8, his bishop doesn't really have a good square to go to. Now what's he trying to do? Play rook B7. That's his counterplay. So I could play B4, and if pawn takes rook B7. My pawn is covered. I can always play the pawn there later. Let's put the rook on A8 and see where he puts his bishop. Let's make him defend, see what he does. Okay, E5. Now I'm close to getting one of those thematic mates. If the knight can get to F6, check, and he goes to H8, queen down there is mate. But let's just go attack his rook, and I'll swing my queen over to D2 next. Okay, Carlos, you just dropped the exchange. Sorry. Knight B6. Okay, he went his king, moved his king there. Now rook E8 check. If he brings his bishop back, liquidate to a winning ending. If he puts his king on F7, I play knight takes, king takes. Do I get anywhere? No. Just B4. Let's get this pawn running. I'll play rook B7. I might even take, rook check. Again, win the piece. Let's get a pass pawn. We need it. Okay, now knight takes rook. Okay. Here's my pass pawn. Okay, what's happening next? They offer me a rook trade. Well, I don't want it. I got the 7th rank. My rook's worth more. Okay. Now, I've won the exchange. He has a dark squared bishop. I don't. So that's another reason not to play F3 and weaken E3. The knight's done about all he can on C4 or B5. Let's get him back into C4 and pressure, do some pressure. Okay, just have to maneuver here to win with the extra exchange. Okay, queen E7. What's he threatening? Excuse me. Anything I should worry about? Let's just back up the knight. That seems to have been the theme here. Okay, now what about rook check? If king D7, I have knight takes F6 check. How about rook A5? No, bishop D8. I want to advance this pawn. Knight's, he can't really do much here. His bishop can go back to B6. Then where does it go? How about if I just bring my king over to help? Okay, king F8. Now we play queen D2 and get ready to attack his king. Okay, everybody's moved here. I heard a tick. Does that mean a game ended? I don't know. Okay, knight C4. Is it my move anywhere? Session is now 49 minutes. Let's see. He just played rook FD8. I've done about as much as I can, with this even position. So, here's one of those positions I can play a5. a5, if he plays b6, I take, he takes. He doesn't control b6, he drops a pawn. And if I run the pawn all the way to a6, he can kick me out with b5, so I don't really want to run that pawn. Let's just put the bishop on f1 and play waiting chess. How dull, huh? Okay, rook c8. Let's see. This is such a crummy bishop. How about if I try to trade it off? Bishop h3. Now, if f takes e, I Zwischenzug with bishop takes e6. Here I'm going to get the bishop off. I think this works. It's my crummy bishop. I'll try to get rid of it. Okay, rook there. Now I have a check. And I believe you get mated next move. Okay. He went over there. That's kind of passive. Now, b5, I get it as far as b6. Do I want to advance it that far? See, b5, bishop d8, b6, rook b7. And just send the king over. Okay. Okay, bishop d8. Where's the bishop going next? Answer is it isn't. So I just get my king closer. King e2. Okay, queen g6. What was happening here? I put the knight. Oh, that's the game where I'm up the exchange. The idea was to bring the knight back to c4, right? Okay, there it is. Knight c4. Okay, rook c8. Let's see. I have 76 minutes. I have plenty of time here. Let's see. Kind of drawing a blank here. It's like, not much is happening here. But you see how easy it is to start. That's why this is a valuable system. You get an even game, and you try to outmaneuver your opponent. I part with the dark squared bishop in this willingly. It's my own system. Grandmaster will probably show me why I shouldn't, but most people I play and you play aren't grandmasters. So go ahead and have fun with it. Okay, let's see. Knight take. Gosh, what do I want to do here? I like to trade the light squared bishops off like I'm getting that other one, but I don't know how to do it. I'll play another waiting move. Never played this move before. Rook a3. Okay. Now Carlos brought his bishop back. Do I care if he doubles? I'm just going to bring it back to d2 and get ready for f5. Or f4 rather. Okay. Even though that weakens e3. Let's see, what did he do? Knight a7. Where's he going? To b5? This might be a position where I can actually take on d4, although it gives up b4 again. Let's see. If I take, and he could play bishop takes, and queen takes. I like that c5 square like I did before, but I don't see how to get there. Knight back to d2 to b3 to c5. That's a long time. He's got e5 covered. I've got this f5 square. How about if I break the pin, possibly double. Let's see, rook d2. No, I might get trapped. See, the idea is rook d2, knight h4, knight f5, but his bishops are kind of raking the board. I can always cover this pawn on d3, which is nowhere close to attacking. I'll just admit my mistake and put the rook on d1. Okay, now his king's coming closer. Now I think I just liquidate. I force a pin, everything comes off, and he loses. Okay. Let's see. So now we get rid of the bishop, just like we planned. Oh, we got rid of that. Okay. Check. I take. And I bring my king over. Now I can't play d4. I have a pin. B3 remains weak, but he can't exploit it. I don't care if he trades on e1. That gives me the file. I can't play. I wanted to play knight f1, but that hangs the knight on f3. I can make a waiting move here. King g2. Or let him come into h3. Since I got rid of the bishop, I think it's better I cover that. Then I'm ready to play knight f1 and knight e3. Okay, king g2 it is. Now he went the knight there. What was my last move? Bishop. Oh, yeah, that's right. We traded there. Okay. Don't quite see what he's up to here. Although taking off my bishop was a good idea, or my knight was probably a good idea. Just on general principles. We both have a bad bishop. I don't want to trade knights, unless I can activate my bishop, because the in opposite colored bishop positions, the one with a better position is a piece ahead, and that bishop isn't active. So how can I get this bishop active? How can he get his bishop active? These are questions to ask. One way to get it active is get it on the A2 G8 diagonal. Now, I can't send my queen too far away, because like queen to E2, because I'll hang C3. So queen D2 is a nice waiting move. It clears D1 for the bishop. Let's try that and see what happens. Of course, he could have played bishop G5 there. I didn't think of that until after I moved. Okay, now he played F5. Now this activates my bishop and gives my bishop a square. I mean, my knight a square on E4. So pawn takes, bishop takes, knight E4. Okay. He's attacking my rook. Okay. I'll play F3 here. What was my idea here? I was just maneuvering. I didn't really have an idea. Okay, F3. Bishop E6. Oh, wow. Rook A3, mysterious rook move. Who used to say that? Nimzovich? I would love to trade my light squared bishop off, but I don't see how to do it. I just brought it back to F1. I can't put it on E2. I can push F3. Oh, he's attacking my rook. Gosh, see? I don't see one movers. So the choice is rook E1 or F3. That's a choice. Rook F1, rook E1. Although I've used the formation with pawns on H2, G3, F3 for many times, I'm going to refrain from it at this point. Okay. So now my knight gets the E4 square as planned. Do I want to check first? Bishop E4 check. Or D5 check. I don't know. Bishop gets hung out to dry. This is just such a nice square for my knight. Okay. Yeah, see, what was I talking about? He gets, with queen D2, he gets to kick me. Okay, I mentioned that right when I left. So I'll go back to C2 and then I'll kick him out with H4. Go back and do it again. So H4 might have been the better move. I don't know. Okay, now it's pretty easy. King up. Okay, he put his bishop back. Well, you're not getting a draw by repetition. Now, do I worry about anything if he sacks? H4, bishop takes, queen takes. He doesn't have enough. Okay, H4. Let's see. Looks like he resigned here. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so that game's over. Which one was that against? John Ura. I can close that window. Yeah, unfortunately, let's just take a quick look. Unfortunately, he just lost a piece. Let's give it a quick review. I'll try to do a review of every game. I actually have plenty of time. Let's see what's happening here. Rather than just show my, see, this move doesn't help the development. I'm not even if you look at all the other games, I never use that square unless you weaken it permanently. So I just kind of followed the theme. The first 11 moves are set, and now I said, oh look, there's C5, and it's a good square for black. And then here, unfortunately, you lost a pawn. You didn't realize that your queen is overworked. It's guarding B7 and it's guarding H3. So now you lose a pawn. The alternative would have been to have played something like B6 and kick me out. But then I've weakened the C6 square for what it's worth. It's an even game. It's all there. But I pick up a pawn, and then here I decided to bring the knight back now rather than run away. And you really don't have any kind of an attack, and unfortunately you dropped a piece. But now your queen has a problem. It's getting close to being trapped, and you drive me to trap it, and there it is, knight f4, and the queen's trapped. Now it's just all over. But anyway, good game there. Hopefully you learned something from that. And my notes. Let's see. I'll go ahead and close this one out. But A6 didn't help you. Let's just go back to that point. If you watch this video, you'll see how everybody else handled it. Every game was even. I mean, yours was too. But in this position, just castle and get the bishop, the light squared bishop developed. Get your queen off the back rank. Get your rook connected, and you'll have an even game. Okay, so we're closing the John Ura game, and let's see who's left. Okay, knight e4. It's my move. No, it's his move. I have 78 minutes left. Time to work on these games. Romanik, what's happening? Is it my move? Yeah, it's my move. Okay, knight e5. Okay, so now I own the light squares because he doesn't have a light squared bishop. And if I take that knight off, I really own him. So knight takes. He might take with the pawn, but that shuts his bishop in. And if he takes with the bishop, I can sink my knight in on e4. He plays d5, or I can put the knight on f3. But I want to take his knight, I think. Does it improve the position of any of his pieces, or is he threatening anything? I can't play d4, and ideally I like to play d4 and let him improve my knight, but there's a pin, and he's pressuring d3, so I'll just take it. Okay, sometimes you have to take. Okay, so he's got a good game. King c4. Is this game still going on? No, this game's over too. Wow, I won 2 games. Okay, let's see what happened here. Let's take it back to the beginning. Okay, game's even. And this is all part of the system. But here you're trading off a bad minor piece. peace of mind. Your light squared bishop is good, so that's doesn't mean you're going to lose, but it makes my game a little easier. And I played this, as I recall, I was trying to get some maneuvering done where I could somehow get a knight sunk in there, and you let me get there on my own. Boom. Now you should probably come back. But then again, and try to get d5 in on your own. If you can get that pawn to d5, it's no longer a weakness. Let's see. So here it's playable. Here d5 takes. Oops. Takes. Knight takes. Queen takes, and this knight's pinned. So d5 is your move here. Now I have a complete that knight's stuck on d5. You can't get rid of it. And here the king side locked up, but I have play on the queen side, and unfortunately you overlooked my threat here. It's coming up. So you took your queen off. I was going to be playing moves like queen b3, threading a discovery, and then bring the queen to the a file and triple down. But anyway, this gave me a pawn, and now the rest is easy. You have a horrible bishop, and I have an extra pawn, and I just bring the king over, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And now we liquidate into the ending, and you're going to lose this. This is the outside pass pawn. It will require your king's attention, and my king will come in and eat your pawns, and game over. But you had a good game. Everybody's had a good game. I don't go out to try to trick you guys. I'll close this one out. Okay, I think I'm down to 4 games. Whose moves is it? Whose moves are they? Okay, my move here. I have 75 minutes. I got plenty of time. Let's see. What goes through my mind here? Okay. To win this game, it's white. White needs to trade pieces and come out on top in the end game. Now if I take here, it uncovers on d4. It uncovers an attack with his rook. So let's see. Can I get anywhere with the queen check? Queen check, bishop e6. If he plays that, which is a natural move, I can get a pin with queen b6. So it gains a tempo. Let's go ahead and do it. Now, can he do c4? Gotta watch these tricky moves. You never know about these tricky moves. c4, pawn takes, bishop e6. Well, we'll try it and see. Okay, so he took with the rook. Now, I think it was better for him to take with the bishop. Now I get him to make an exchange that helps my pieces. See, rook takes. I'll play rook takes. Okay, so knight f3. Should have played taken with the bishop in that square. Okay, now I've got the b6 square. He's just given me. Do I want it? Yeah, it hits for d5. My plan has been to try to get the bishop back here and over there. But let's stick it on b6 and leave it there for a while. See what happens. Okay. Now it's my move here. King h8. What was I doing here? I was trying to figure this one out. Dead even game, Sir Speedy. You're playing well. Okay. A5, a6. Do I want to do anything like... I just don't know what to do here. Well, I can offer a light squared bishop trade. Let's see. Bishop e2. I put my knight on b3. Does that do anything? Okay, why is he playing king h8? A waiting move of his own? What was my last move? Rook e1. I was thinking something along the line of kicking him out with f3. See, the rook on a3 does provide some indirect support on d3. And it's bluffing attempt to b3. I've never really played this maneuver before. I just thought it up here. Got plenty of time. Plenty of time. What do I want to do here? Let's see. Bishop e2, bishop h3. I mean, I would love it if he took, but I don't know, that bishop isn't really doing much to me. If I play bishop g2 with the eye of f3, he can come in with h5 and bishop h6. I mean, these are just things to think. I have just thinking of squares. Do I want to break with f4 at any point? I don't know. Let's see. f3, I'll play bishop e6, and I still have to come up with a move. Bishop e2 with the idea of knight e1. I'm sorry, knight f1. And where's my knight go? Just don't know here. What do we got? 18 moves in. Yeah, it's a luxury White has, though. White can sit here and shuffle pieces around, but I got to try something at some point. I've got to change the structure, because if I just keep moving my rooks around, he'll just keep moving his kings around. I've got to force something. See, the one color square I'm weak on is the dark square. So one drawback with playing h or f3 is that I've weakened a dark square. So I'm going to give him a chance to trade bishops. Do I want to do that? Bishop e2 takes. He takes, I take. He pressures d3. Don't want to trade bishops yet either. I'm just going to play f3. See where he puts his bishop. Okay. Now he put his rook on e6, so does he want to double? If I take with the rook, he can take with the pawn. Now he's doubling on the, going to double on the e file. Okay, the f file. Okay, so I've got the white squares here. He's got the dark squares. If I play rook takes, and he plays f takes, and I play rook e1, he plays rook f8, I can play queen e2, covering f3, and then I'm ready to maneuver my knight somewhere, anywhere. Let's see, rook takes, f takes, queen e, rook e1, rook f8, queen e2, threatening to take his pawn with check. So if he pushes it, that goes on a black square. Yeah, I think this works out. So rook takes, f takes, rook e1, rook f8, queen e2. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Okay, king h there. Now we penetrate with the queen and threaten a pawn. See what he does. Do I get my queen trapped? Got to make sure that doesn't happen. Queen b5, bishop d7 drops the bishop. Let's just play queen b5 and let him figure it out. Okay, queen b5. Now he played there. Does he want to give up the exchange? Is he trying to get to the c file? What's he trying to do? What I want to do is get my bishop on the a2 g8 diagonal. I'm not seeing exactly how to do it. Queen d2, pawn takes, rook d6, knight d5, knight c7. I could let him take, and I'll get a passed pawn and have e4 for my bishop. It's not much, but might lead to something. Okay, let's try it. Okay, bishop e6. That was expected. I have weakened f3 or e3 just a wee bit. I wasn't sure. I'm just not sure what I'm doing here. I'm just playing an even game, trying to find a plan, see what they do, make your opponent play chess. Okay, queen b5. It's his move. It's his move. I got him thinking. Now let's review this. Okay, I have 72 minutes. I have 83 minutes. I have 65 minutes. And I have 59 minutes. And I've been at this for an hour and 16. I need to stretch my legs. So this is the most intriguing game right here with Sir Speedy, because I don't know what I'm doing. Well, he took with the pawn as expected. Now I put the rook on e1. He could play g4, but I have knight h4. But do I want the knight on h4? How about if I play queen e2 first? That way, if g4, I have d2 and I get my queen transferred over. This invites him to play moves like rook e8 or e5 right away, shutting his bishop in. So I'll go this way, break that pin once and for all. The pin being the pawn on d3 was pinned. Now it's my move again. So he did play knight c7. He's trying to keep me out. Okay, so now we put the bishop on d1. And the goal is to put it on d5. We'll see if we get anywhere there. Okay. I'll be back in a minute or two. Okay, I'm back. He's trying to attack me. How about if I shove that pawn? Or go attack his rook? Could get messy. Can't stop bishop b3. He could push g4. I take it. Yeah. But if he pushes... Let's see. Can get tricky here. Very interesting game. Candidate moves are bishop b3 and h5. Now let's consider the sacrifice of the exchange by black. Bishop b3, he takes the pawn. I take his rook. He takes with his knight. Now his knight's getting active. He would have an f4 square. Yeah, bishop b3 is no good. h5. He can push g4. I can take, but then my queen gets in trouble. h5, g4, bishop b3, bishop g5, queen d2. I'm attacking g4. Okay, h5 it is. Okay, b6. Okay, got a weakness. b6. Got a long diagonal. Where can my queen penetrate? What can I do with that long diagonal? Don't know. I need to develop my king, queen, rook. Let's see. Being up the exchange is technically a win, but it takes a while. Is this a position I want to open up the file now? Let's see. Pawn takes. If he takes with this pawn, I can oppose the file. See, it was keeping his knight out of b4. Now that knight's not getting necessarily to b4 easily enough. If he takes with the e-pawn, that opens up a file for my rooks. You know, I need open files for the rooks to recognize this. I think this is correct. Intuition just tells me. Okay, bishop g7. He played the slower move. Now, do I want the bishop? I want control at d5. And then the question is, do I try to show why the better bishop will prevail, and just go ahead and offer the opposite colored bishops, and have that wonderful post. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try this, but I'll figure out the rest here. Okay, f5. Okay. This is the game where I didn't know what was going on. I still don't know what's going on. Isn't that horrible? All I know is I have an even game and I can figure it out. Okay, if he takes on e4, that gives me a nice outpost for my knight. And I don't care if he takes on c4, I never have. I'm not too worried about him pushing f4. I can just push g4. It looked like that other game where we lock up all the pawns. So, one of the ideas of rook a3 was, what was one of the ideas, was possible move to b3. What if I just bring it back? And, yeah, I'm just going to bring it back in case I need to shift the rooks over to the king side. Okay, so he's got some pressure on f2, but that's all he's got. Now, do I put the bishop or knight on d5? If I put the bishop there, he doesn't have to take it, but I have a nice knight, and if he does take it, I have that knight permanently entrenched on d5, and his rook has to vacate the f-file. He has a horrible bishop. I have a weakness on a5, but then I can open up the c-file for my rooks. Bishop d5 keeps the keeps him from protecting d4 with his queen, so that when I do take on d4, he has to take back with a pawn. But then again, that activates his bishop. But then again, at the same time, I need active squares for my rooks. So before I do that, since he can't play rook c8, how about if I just play rook c1 and wait? Yeah, there we go. I did play e4. Okay, this helps me. Now I'm going to make a fork. Queen e4 forks his queen and his pawn. And if he takes, I've got a backward pawn on the open file and a wonderful knight. I got that d5 square under control. Then we'll play the ending. Okay. He took with the e-pawn. I've got the open file. Now f2. How can he attack f2? The reason I ask is I'm deciding which rook to put on e1. Let's see, rook fe1, knight c6. I gave him b4. Rook e1, knight c6. I didn't analyze all this out. Now where does my knight go? Oh, he can't play knight c6. I snatch his pawn. Okay. My idea is to remaneuver the knight to c4 and get into e5. But I've got to watch d3. You know, I can't move that knight. He's kind of stuck. But I can always bring the bishop back to f1 and protect d3. So I think it tells me this is the right rook. Okay, now he brought his bishop back. He's trying to get it into play. Okay. Which way to go? But if I just improve my position a little bit, how can I do that? The light squares are mine, so let's put the queen on e2 and get her to g4. Okay, now you've declined the queen trade, which is fine. Now is the queen threatening to go to b3? This is a position where I can play c4, I think. Let's see. Oh, I played it too quick. I didn't want to play it, but that's okay. I was going to play knight d2. I discovered knight d2, kept him out of b3, and planned queen c4, but I'll live with it. You know. Okay, now we lock up the queen side, or do we lock up the king side? That gives him h4. Queen h4. Where's he going next? Sacrificing his bishop. Doesn't have enough. Yeah, I'll play it. I'll live with it. Okay, I didn't want to play c4 in that move, but in that one game, but I did. Okay, yeah, knight d2. But here, let's see. All is not lost, so to speak. And I can go to e1 to c2 to e3 to d5. And I have to cover f2 at some point. So, It's their move everywhere. What time? He has 48 minutes left. He has 27 minutes left. He has 61. And he has 72. 52 minutes for me. Plenty of time to avoid a disaster. Oh, my move. Okay, rook d8. Or d6 rather. Okay, so now I play to take the light squares. Okay, that's the idea. Just taking light squares. Okay, queen g4. Okay, h5. Now I play h3. Okay, queen e8. What's happening here? I can play f4. Pawn takes, pawn takes. Play knight d8, or I'm sorry, knight d7. That attacks his rook. No, I can't. He eats it. I can play bishop a4 here. It's an interesting move. Bishop a4. What's he planning to do? Queen b5. Working a couple of pawns. Maybe he is. What if I play bishop a4? That drives his queen out. And if he wants to trade queens, well, we'll let him. Okay, bishop a4, queen e6, queen takes, rook takes. He might play knight b5, but then he's stepping into a pin. Then I get knight d5 in on my own. And he can't oppose it. So bishop a4. Can he play rook takes? No, he can't play rook takes b6. I take his queen. Okay. Rook d8. Now, what was I saying? The maneuver is knight e1 to knight e1 to c2 to e3 to d5. 1, 2, 3. He can play d5 at any point. Might lure him into playing rook f8, in which case I need to play something like f3. Knight e1, d5. I'm no longer on e5 with the knight. Pawn takes. Because I don't have to take with the queen, or I don't have to take at all. I can bring the queen back here. No, pawn takes, rook takes, queen takes, and c4 hangs. See, I didn't want to play c4, but I did. Can always back up things with b3. b3 now. b3 now. d5. Queen e2. b takes, or d takes c4. d takes c4. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just play b3. Don't have exactly what I want, but I'm putting pawns on the opposite color of his bishop, so that should work. Now, rook c7. What was my last move? Rook fe1. Is he planning to chase my queen out with bishop d7? I don't know. Maybe he is. Let's see. Where do I want things? Has my queen done all that she can on b5? That's the question. I can play queen c4. It's going to be a long time getting back in play. Bishop f1 frees the knight, but where's the knight go next? d2 to f3 to e5. I got to use this f file. Let's try bishop f or e file. Bishop e1 f1. And if bishop d7, I put the queen on b3. What am I hanging? Anything? Okay, he did offer a queen trade, and I said no big deal. play bishop d7 here, little x-ray maneuver. Point being the bishop on d7 guards the queen on g4. So if queen takes, bishop takes, and I do have to watch c3. I guess saying, what's this pop-up coming up? McAfee Security Plus. Cancel. Get out of here. Okay. Queen takes. Yeah, let's take his queen. Okay, he took there. Now the H-file's open. Who's going to get to it? Who's going to get there first? Okay. I guess thematic is just king g2 here. Okay, they'll play king f7. And he took with the knight. Now my knight comes to d5 by itself. Okay, knight d5, and he can't trade it off. So knight d5. Then I get ready to take on d4, maybe. Okay, that, I have 56 to 62 minutes. He has 46 minutes. I have 63. I have 80 minutes here, but he's using a lot of time. Okay, so we're going to both put rooks on the H-file and trade stuff off. Maybe we should have played queen h4 there. I might have been in trouble. Let's look at that. King f7, or king here. What if we play queen h4 here? I didn't even consider that. Threatening queen g3 check. Ugh. Rook h1, queen g3 check, king there. I'm in trouble. Okay, we got to make sure he doesn't get his queen on h4. Okay, so, you know, I'm not the most careful player. I've never known what to do here. I have this crummy bishop. That much I know. I have a very crummy bishop. It's going to have to get into play d1 to b3 at some point. How about if we get the queen to f2? Let's see, queen d1, rook takes, queen takes, rook h8. My queen's loose. Nope, can't do that. So to do that, okay, I swing this rook over here first. I spend a tempo. Okay, where's his knight going? He's attacking a pawn. Well, if I play g4, they give him f4. So what I play is bishop d1. Oh, I'll play bishop d1. I've got the knight where I want it. This can't be bad. Bishop d1, followed by bishop g4. Yeah, there's the ticket. Get on the light squares. Okay, bishop d1. Okay, a5. That helped me a little bit. Now I can go through the maneuver that I wanted with knight e1 to c2 to e3 to d4 or d5. And at some point I have to cover f2 if he plays rook f8. So let's see what happens. I got 79 minutes. He has 22. Got plenty of time in all these games. Simul has now lasted an hour and 39 minutes. My score is 2-0. Nobody messaged me that I was missing a game. Okay, so I've got d3 overprotected here so that my knight is free. Okay, what do he play? Knight f8. What's he trying to do? My idea was to play bishop g4, take c8 away from him. Then I open up the c file. For what it's worth, Okay, rook b7. Now, knight d2 was my idea, with the idea of going to f3 where it's not protected so I can get to f5. Put it on c4. There's threatening e5. Knight d2. What if we play c4? Now, okay here. Knight d2. Okay. Rook c6. Now if I take, he takes, I take, and okay, what's happening here? I can force his knight off the board with bishop d7. Bishop d7. And I can open up the C file. 55 minutes. Having a little granola bar here, or whatever it was I say. Chocolate chip and brownie oat bars from Trader Joe's. Let's see. So do I want to double my rooks on the C file before I play bishop d7? That's a good question. Sometimes I just sit here and try to find things to do, and hopefully find things to talk to you about, to see how does a chess master think. I could take on d4 any time. He might take with the e-pawn. But then I don't really have a lot of pressure on c5. He's got that covered. I need an open file. It's got to be the C file. If not, what else? So bishop d7, rook d6. I take his knight. He takes. I mean, if he plays rook d6, he's blocking his bishop, so this is the move. Okay, there it is. I hit that as expected. Now, what was I saying earlier? f3. Can he get anywhere at g4? Oh, queen takes g4. And I get another pawn on a white square. Now my idea is knight c2 and knight e3 and knight d5. So f3. Okay. Where's his knight going? Well, I can't play knight c4 because I'll drop this pawn on d3, right? Well, no, I don't drop it. Knight c4, bishop takes, queen takes c6. Knight c4. What about knight b4? Is my queen embarrassed? I play knight e5, attacking his queen, covering d7. Let's see, knight here, knight b4, knight e5, attacks his queen, covers d3, which is thrice attacked. Where's his queen go? f6. Moves like queen e8 for what that's worth. Play bishop g7 maybe. Yeah, this is the move. Okay, so he took. Now bishop takes, rook takes. It's a good bar. Bishop takes, e8, rook takes, pawn takes. And he needs to take with the c pawn, and I've got the open file. Okay, here you go. Okay, b6. Now what was I trying trying to do here. I was trying to bring my queen to f2, right? I think that's what I was trying to do. You're supposed to tell me these things. Haha. He gave up the exchange? This can't be good. Or what? Okay, so pawn takes. Okay, so I got the exchange advantage. I can take with the pawn, opening up files. Can't take with the e-pawn, he's pinned. Then my rook gets down to the 7th rank. Let's see, well, or I can protect. That's another way to do it. c4 keeps his bishop bottled up, gives me a protected pass pawn, and then I try to penetrate with my king. I'm going to play c4. Well, let's just look at it. Pawn takes on d4, c takes, rook c7, bishop b4, rook double, c takes, I take. Got active squares for my pieces. But a lot of times I choose the slower way simply because my opponent doesn't have any way to get active. I mean, c4, my rooks aren't in play, but what can he do? Well, bishop d6, bishop c7, attack my pawn and tie me down to it. So the move is to, let's just do it the right way. I know it's the right way, but it's my style of play is a slow play. I'll go for the slower win. And now he gets bishop b4 in, but that's all right. Okay. I'm on b5. Okay, rook d8. Now, where's he planning to go? Pressure d3 somehow? Okay, so queen e1. Yeah, that was what I was planning. Living and dying by that. Now does he get d5 in? Knight c2, d5. Queen e2. If pawn takes, I take with the pawn. I still get control of d5. I'll have a better minor piece. Knight c2, he should play d5 because if he doesn't, I'm going to play my knight to e3. So d5, I retreat my queen, and if he pushes d4, he gives me the e4 square back. Let's just do it. Okay, he did play that. Now I double. Okay. Now bishop f6. Okay, so rook takes, rook takes. Let's see. He's planning to stick a critter on h4. Okay, good for him. It's a good move. It's a good plan. Is this where I want to trade off? Rook takes h8, rook takes, rook h1, bishop h4, queen g1, bishop g3, rook takes, queen h1, keeping his queen out of h4. Let's see. Let's do it. Let's do it to it. Okay. There he took. Now I'm on the 7th. And I've got to pass pawn for what it's worth. And I got open files for my rooks. Okay, he took. Now I go here. He's trying to get a pass pawn too. Well, okay. It shouldn't be a problem. Pawn takes, rook takes. I push. Or shouldn't be a problem. Pretty much have to take it. Okay, knight b4 is expected. Now, knight e4 on his queen. Or knight e5, I should say. Knight e5 on his queen. Okay, now he took. Now, okay, he's got a pass pawn. d3, d2. Let's deactivate his bishop. b4. Okay, now he played that as expected. Now, he can get to g3, but I'm trading things off. And the question is, do I leave myself with a bad ending over on the other side of the board? Okay, queen f6. Now, like I was saying earlier, I can attack his rook. I'm unprotecting d3, but I get ready for a move like knight c6. Oh, bishop g2, and I've got d3 covered enough. Okay. Yeah, he needed to play that. Now I just bring the queen back. And if he takes on c4, I take on with my d-pawn, trade rooks, and play the ending. Okay, bishop d8. Now you're going to run into trouble. You're going to lose a piece here unless your d-pawn becomes potent. Okay, rook b8, rook back, d3, rook takes, check. A rook takes, he goes d2, and I cry because he queens. Is that true? Okay, rook b8, rook back, rook down to c8, d3, rook takes, d2. Whoops. Okay, so the first step is to deactivate his rook, and then go after his pawn. Okay, he played king g7. Now we got to drive that bishop out. How do I get a knight to g2? By way of e1. How do I get to e1? By way of c2. Then I have to move my king too. Let's see. What if I play rook h3 here? The idea is to play queen h1. Okay, now I got the rook tied down, so now I go at, rook down's a mistake. I'll just go after the pawn. Rook d1, and game's soon over. Okay. Now I take the pawn, and I take this. Okay, now what can he attack? Nothing. I can hit his bishop and stick my rook on my pawn on the 7th rank, then activate my king, and I own the light squares. So let's just get it down there and check. Okay, now rook b6. Or rook d6. I trade my d pawn for his h pawn. What if I just put it on a light square, put it on d3. Somebody wants to be my friend. I accept all friends' requests. Okay, a5, that's fine. I'll just take it off. I own the light squares. Okay, you played rook c7. Now, what do I want to do? I wanted to play... I was trying to play knight... Where was I trying to put that knight? Wait a minute, this is where I can put my queen on e8. Right? Now if I put my queen on e8, he could take my d-pawn. Complications. Of course, I can put my bishop on... No, I can't put my bishop on e4 and place queen takes e5. Okay. Let's see. I have an hour left. Plenty of time. Okay, queen. You know, being an exchange up isn't always easy. Okay, does he have a threat I should worry about? The answer is only if I weaken my position. I've stopped bishop d7 bothering my queen. I've got two pieces on d3. Could he be threatening something like bishop d6, undermining it? Well, if that's the case, then maybe I play... No, not the problem with knight c4 is that d3 hangs, so I got to overprotect that. Then I can threaten knight c4. Right? Wait, no, bishop d6. I can't play knight c4 because it hangs. Dang it. Okay, so let's see. Knight c4. Yeah, what's happening here? Dare I play f4? I was thinking about it. Oh, he's threatening knight c2. Didn't even see that. Could he have done that last move? So I think rook d1's the move. Rook d1. Okay. Now he pushed. Okay, that gives me the e4 square. Now, how do I get a knight to e4? By way of d2 or f2. How do I get to either one of those squares? Knight f1. Maybe I don't. So that b5. For what it's worth, let's see. To get to f2, I have to get to d1. To get to d1, I have to get to b2. To get to b2, those squares are covered. So let's see. Knight e1, king there. All right. Well, not too worried about it. I can always get the knight into play on d5 or b5 and try to head for d5. Let's see. Queen e4. You know, I've really got an easy game to play here. He can't threaten anything. Queen e4. Okay. Now, Sir Speedy has brought his queen over here. So what's he trying to do? Send the queen to the queen side where I'm weak, where I've vacated. Let's put the queen on h1. Then bring the queen back to protect the bishop. Then can I maneuver my knights? Maybe. We'll find out. Okay, bishop takes a5. Is it my move here? Yeah. Okay. So, all I do is bring my king up. He can't touch me when I'm on the light squares. Okay, play g5. Well, that's interesting. How do I get a knight to g2? I think I asked this earlier. To get to g2, he's got to get to e1. To get to e1, he's got to get to c2. And I can do that. But do I want to do that? My knight on c4 is keeping him honest on e5. Gosh, just 40 minutes left. Plenty of time. Let's see. Looking and not thinking of anything. See, the way this game could fall apart on me is if his bishop gets to g3 and his queen penetrates, or he's able to send something over the queen side and penetrate. And it's going to take me a long time to get a knight to to g2. And I'm not even sure where my king goes, because to get to g, but I can get there. Knight a3 to c2 to e1, king f1, and knight g4 g2. But then he sticks his knight on, or bishop on g3, but then I'm trading off. Okay, so since he shut the H file down, can I activate my queen? Queen a1, what's that do? Covers a3, transfer to a3. Queen d1, maybe stick it on b3. What if I play knight a3 now and just see what he's doing? Knight a3, I'm stopping bishop b3. He could play knight a5. Knight a3, knight a5, knight b5. Knight a3, knight a5, c4. Locking things up everywhere. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Don't know what to do. Don't know what to do. Not knowing what to do in this game the whole way. Am I worse off? Yeah, could be. My light square bishop is horrible. How do I activate it? Or I try to trade it off. Bishop d1 with the idea of bishop b3. Of course, I have to watch out for some sacrifice on g4. This queen makes that battery on the c8 h3 diagonal. My knight on c4 is good. It's tying his pieces down. He's making something defend e5. Unfortunately, I can't get another attacker on it. The rules of chess say I have to move. Try to make this interesting game. Win, lose, or draw. When I make this an instructional video, that's the key. Knight a3. Gosh. It's one of those positions where both sides could make 5 straight moves, and unless they're attacking something, nothing will happen. I just don't know. I just don't know what I want to do here. Okay, can he prepare a6 and b5 as a plan to chase my knight out? Maybe, maybe not. Queen c7 does guard the pawn on b6, so that he could play a6 and b5. So queen a1, a6, threatening b5, and if pawn takes, I can't play knight a5. But I can tickle the pawn and prepare knight c2. Okay, queen a1 by default. Bang. Okay, what's he doing? Rook there. Okay, now, what was the idea? Knight a3, because I couldn't do anything else with my knight. Knight a3. We're trying to take over b5. Okay, so we're taking that square and seeing where we can get from there. Okay, bishop c1. Is he planning bishop b6 or a6? Not really. Because I have e8 available. I have e8 available right now. What if I play knight c4? That attacks his pawn on b6. And if bishop b7, I can take on b6, right? And then I activate this rook on e1, and I maybe even get queen e8 in. So knight here, bishop d7, queen takes. And he's out of luck, and I got d1 covered. So I've cut off my queen's retreat. Let's see, knight c4. I'm on a pawn. How does he guard the pawn? That's a good question. How does he guard the pawn? Because my bishop on g2 is covering things. Put it on b7 and try and give up another exchange for mating threats. Maybe that's his only way out. Well, I think that's the right move. Okay, so rook d6. Now I take the square. Okay. Now get my king in the game. The light squares are mine. I have 42 minutes left. I have 4 games left, 2 in. 36 minutes left there, 42 minutes left here, 72 here. Oh wow, he's got 749. He's playing on the increment. Rook d7, stopping knight c7. Okay, so now it's a matter of me trying to improve my position. Not quite sure how I do that. I got to figure that out. One way is to try to break open the H file. He has to move each time, so I can make waiting moves. I can try to blast open the F file. Okay, rook e1 with the idea of f4, pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes. I give up a pawn, but the idea is to try to win it back. Let's just play rook e1 and keep him thinking. Okay. And it's everybody's move. Hooray. Okay. Knight c4 is making him think. Yeah, rook b7 is an interesting move, trying to give up the exchange. Bishop take, if I take on b7, he takes, and suddenly he's threatening queen f3. It's a very potent move. So, but there's no rule that says I have to take that rook. I can play something like queen e8, penetrating with my queen, and my f2 square is not covered. He can't get at it too easily. Okay, so where we at? Pretty much everybody has an even game. I mean, he's got compensation for the exchange here. I don't have a clear win here. I mean, I think I'm winning this one game where I'm up the exchange. He hasn't moved. We're 2 hours and 9 minutes into this, and he's got a defendable position here. White's better, but where's my win? My win is technique in the ending, based on the fact that I've got a good knight and he has a bad bishop. But I can't really penetrate with my pieces. He's got the squares covered. h7, g6, f5, d5, c6, and b7. All forward squares for my queen are covered. For my knight, well, let's see. I do have knight a7, but where's it go next? So c8, and where's it go? b6, then to d5. So there's my method. Knight Okay, now I just keep using the white squares here. Oops, I hung a pawn, but he can't take it. Bishop takes f2 allows me to queen. Okay, so now I just penetrate a little further. And we're going to zugzwang him out of here. Okay, so let's see. The simplest way to do this is, let's see, rook e3 threatens a check. He plays bishop e7. I sack, he takes. I'm just going to make some waiting moves. I'm fine. Okay, queen f6. Now what did that give up? Any square? No, it didn't. Okay, so knight a7. The idea is to go to c8 and b6 and d5. But he's got b6 covered. So, I can always try to open up the H file. I need another file for my rook. How about if I just attack his rook? Queen g4. Okay. Now I maintain control of f3. So that looks good. And now another waiting move. Let's see. F3. See, all my pieces are on white squares. You can't do a thing. Okay. Queen a1. Got him thinking. Okay, king there. Now I can liquidate into a winning ending. Check, queen. Check, queen check. Bishop takes, rook takes, king f6, forcing king e8, king g7, king e7, king takes. He brings his king to f6. I put my king. It could put a king on g8 also, but if he puts it on f8, I take on g5. So king f6, king h7. His own pawn's in the way. His pawn on f7 is in the way of me from playing king h7 to g8, and then h6 and queen. Okay, so this wins. Queen, hello. Okay, queen f7. Now I've got e4 for the rook. I also have b6 potentially for the knight. So, I don't know what getting the knight to d5 does, but we're going to try it. Let's try it. Knight here with the idea of knight c8. I guess the knight could get hung out to dry if he's not careful. Well, let's just try it. He's got to sort things out. Okay, a6. As expected, he was playing for that break. Let's see. I have 35 minutes to sort it out. I could play knight a3 here now. That stops b5. And starts transferring the knight over where he wanted to go. Okay, knight a3. Stops b5. Let's just play it, get it done with. Okay, now rook takes. King here. And king g7 comes. And my pawn queens. Hello. Now I have to give up protection of g5. I won. Okay. Game over. Thanks for the game. Let's see what happened here. Oh, I can't write just yet. I will come back. Okay, rook b8. He's planning b5. Okay. Well, you're going to play b5. There's nothing I can do about it. But you have locked up your pressure on the H file. So Let's see. What can I do here? I'm going to go back and play c4. b5, pawn takes c4. He gets knight b5 in. Then what's he get? Oh dear. Am I better or worse here? I don't know. Probably worse. Do I have another move somewhere else? Let's see. I'm just going to think here. Okay, this is here. He did play there, stopping knight c8. No, it doesn't stop knight c8. My queen is guarding it. Of course, you can get clever with h5. Whoops. Okay, so we tried. Let's see. Knight c8 doesn't threaten a thing. h5 messes me up. Okay, knight b5. You get to repeat a move. You gain some time on your clock. Okay, he attacked my rook. What was my last move? Knight c4. I attacked a pawn. He attacked a rook. Is this the kind of position where I give the exchange back? Let's see. Queen takes b6. You always want to think about this. Don't hang on to all your material. You can win the game by giving stuff back. Okay, queen takes b6 threatens his rook. And if he trades queens, I take back with my knight. He takes my rook. I take his bishop. Now I have a knight on b6. And I'm a pawn ahead. And I have a bishop check for what it's worth. What's he do on the bishop check? King, pots or see a check, pots or give a check. It puts another protector on d3. Let's check him. Check. Okay. Now his rook went back as expected. Now I got to find a new plan. Okay. Let's see. Okay, he's only got 4 minutes, but he's got a 30-second increment. He should be okay. He's an active player. Probably getting better. I hope he is. Been with my group for a long time. Let's see. What do I want to do here? I have 69 minutes left. F4 or H4. I'm going to have to break with one of those eventually. H4 threatens a pawn. If he takes... Since I'm attacking the rook, I think I can afford to play rook e4. I'll just play it and see what happens. Okay, he got out of check. Now I have another check. Bishop f8. Which gives me a pin. I can take on knight takes b6. If he takes with the queen, here's a case where I can give back the exchange. Check, king up. Knight takes b6. bishop takes d8. I mean, I give back the exchange, but I got some pressure, and if he trades queens, that's fine with me. Then I can play a move like f3 and chase his bishop out of there. So check is the move. Okay, so let's see. He played rook b8. Oh, I haven't moved yet. Okay. Hadn't made up my mind in this game. Let's see. Bishop d1. Okay, c4, bishop d1, b5, pawn takes, knight c2. b4, c4. I'm going to lock up this whole board here. Knight c2. Let's see. Rook h1, b4, takes, my move. Knight c2. Now c4 just doesn't smell right. I'm just locking in my bishop. It's just becoming too horrible. How much time do I have? 28 minutes? Oh, don't know what to do. I don't know what to do here. I haven't known what to do this whole game. You're playing well, Sir Speedy. I'm glad you got a late entry here and added me a friend just in time. Okay, I probably need to take a walk again. I think you're in trouble. I think I'm in. No, wait. Let's see what's happening. I didn't get a chance to go over this one game here. Let me do that. Then I need to take a walk. Stretch my legs. Okay. Your game is fine. It's still fine. You found some good. You're finding some good moves here. As the video describes, I'm taking squares away. But I was always trying to find a way to give stuff up. But I think this was kind of passive. Maybe keep the bishop there. I think I had the bases covered. But you want to try to get this bishop into play, as I recall. There's more detail on the video, and I'm just trying to keep pieces on the board. I'm not in a hurry to do what I said I was going to do. But when you gave up the exchange, I think that's what hurt you. Okay, knight takes or knight back, and you see now I'm coming in on the light squares. Now here what you needed to do was play rook takes. You need to play rook takes. Now what I've got is I've got this really nice knight that I've had in some of these other games against kind of a Kermit bishop, and that's my advantage. I'm going to play pawn takes, and if you take with the e pawn, c5 hangs, so you take with the d pawn, and my rook gets to penetrate. Now, but you do have a target here, and I hadn't worked it all out yet because of the time constraint. You do have a potential target here on a5, but I'm getting my rooks penetrated. Okay, so rook takes, pawn takes, rook c7. I'm doing okay. I get my rooks covered, and that was your best defense. Okay, I'm gonna close this game, and we're down to 3 games. Okay, let's see now what's left. Okay, it's my move. Okay, I have 50 minutes left. What do I have left here? I have 66 minutes left. Okay, what do I have there? Here, I have 26 minutes left. Okay, I need to take a walk. I'll come back. I need to get this game figured out, but I don't know. This one's kind of fun. Not exactly sure how to make progress here, but I'm working on it. I will be back. Use the restroom. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. I have 62 minutes here. I don't know why I'm intrigued with this game. He's low on time. I'm not. I have 46 minutes there, and I have 21 and counting here. I should probably focus on that game. But I don't know. This lineup, if queen takes, somehow get a knight check, but I don't know how to do that. Here's another question. Can this... He really can't do anything. Can my knight remaneuver now? Knight to a3 to c2 to e1 to g2. Then where? h4. I kind of like having that knight where it's at. He can't attack my king, so it's time to try to break him open somehow. Is my rook misplaced on e4? h4, he takes. Of course, I could be exposing my king. Yeah, you know, he's got a defendable game, and this is a good game here. Let's think about this one. I need to look at this one because my time's running down. I have 20 minutes, and it's a nightmare. So let's see. The question is, do I play c4, or do I just and lock it up and say we blockade and call it a draw? I don't know. He's going to get b5 in. So the question is, where do I want my rook? I think I need to play rook back to h1. Now b5, a takes. Now he's not threatening anything except a pin. I play knight c2. He plays queen b7 so he can get on the file. I'd love to be able to trade my bishop off somehow. Bishop d1 to b3, and I just can't quite put this together. I'm just not sure. Okay. Fooey. Fooey. Just, it's the kind of position that suddenly can turn on white simply because I've got this horrible bishop, and he's got a good light squared bishop. But as you can see in the other game, sometimes you can have a good minor piece against a bad one, and you can't make progress. The game with Romanek, I'm not sure how to continue there. I just don't quite see it. But here, the question comes down to, do I want to play c4 and let him play b5? So because pawn takes, I can take with the knight, and I win a pawn. He'll have to support it to break with knight, like knight a7, right? And black is the one that has all the fun there, and that's the part that bothers me. Black is the one having all the fun, and I like to be the one having the fun, wouldn't you? And I'm not having any fun here. But actually, I am having fun. I'm just saying I'm not really. I haven't been outplayed, but I'm kind of in a little bit of dilemma how to continue. I just can't figure this one out, and I'm trying to follow sound positional aspects and determine a move. So, if I play c4, what do you do? Knight a7. Well, I guess also gives him b4 for the knight. I just don't like that. Rook h1 isn't a bad move. And then he plays b5, and I take, and he takes with his pawn, and I play like knight c2, and queen b7, for instance. Of course, the knight on c2 covers b4. Yeah, rook h1 is the move. Keep the queen and rook together, because I just can't afford to spend time. Okay, now got to work on this one. Knight takes b6. This gives back an exchange and gets ready for knight d7. Knight takes b6. If queen takes b6, queen takes f8 is mate. Knight b6, bishop takes d1, rook takes d1, and I'm up a clear pawn. That's the move. Knight takes b6. What am I missing? Can he attack my queen? Rook e7. Well, I don't mind giving back the exchange. My queen can always, it stays on the back rank. I'll just play it. Okay, now back to this one. Okay, let's see. What do I want to do here? Okay, he can't do anything at all on the queen side. It's locked. He can't do anything on the king side. I have it hunkered down. So maybe my knight does need to come back into play. Knight to a3, to b1, to d2, to f1, then figure to get it to h3 somehow. Then it plans to go to g4. Yeah, I think I need to move this knight. It's, he doesn't have any breaks. I'll just come back here. Okay, b5 is expected. b5 is expected. Then let's see. I take it. I gotta take it. Okay. Take. And he takes. Now what do I want to do? Use the pre-move on me. Okay, that's fine. I'll stay here. Now what do I want to do now? Knight c2 I was thinking about. c4 can come in and try that again. I threaten his pawn. If he takes, I get a knight back on c4. Yeah, that makes sense. He gets b5, but I'm on his pawn. Okay, rook d8. Now the path, do I go c1, or I'm sorry, b1 or c2? c2 to e1, move the king to g2, then where? Or knight b1 to d2. Knight b1 to d2 to f1. Move the king. h3. Knight h2. Now where do I put my queen? I want the knight on g2 to support f4, or a potential f4. So to get to g1, I got to get to e1. So knight c2 it is. Okay, got that one figured out. Okay, so 40 moves in here. Okay, what did he do? He played over there, keeping my queen honest. Is he threatening h4? Yes, he is. So, h4, so I bring the rook back to e1. It was misplaced. I put it on e1. That takes away the square from my knight. I put it on e2. Okay, now I'm threatening a queen check for what it's worth. Okay, he took that. Now, I take his bishop. So I've given back the exchange. What if he plays rook f7? Well, I play f4. Okay, I've given back the exchange. I have a pawn. Now let's see his move. Okay, I played c4. Now point is if pawn takes, knight takes. Outpost time. It could pin me. Rook a8. Could try that, huh? This may not be a bad move. Yeah, too bad about those guys I sent challenges to. They never responded back. Okay, king g3. Or g6. What's he trying to do? Well, I could play queen check. And if he interposes queen, he's on d3 if I snatch. I'll overprotect f3 and d3 first. Knight e1. Okay, he did attack that. Now I maintain the pin and guard the knight. Let's see. I gotta be careful. Don't make a mouse slip. Okay, queen c8. Well, I'll play there. Threatens to take on c5. Or does it because he has rook takes e4. Queen c8 does threaten knight d7. Queen c8, knight d, queen c8, rook f7, f4. Queen c8 takes c6 from his knight. I think that's important. Queen c8. Now what am I missing? That's the move. Okay, that's done. Okay, he wants a queen trade. Okay. Let's trade queens under my conditions. Okay. What are my conditions? Play h3. If takes, I can take with the g pawn. Now how does my knight get into the game? It goes back to b5. Okay, let's see. Queen takes, rook takes, knight c2. He can't do anything. He shuffles his rook around, knight a3. I get knight b5 in. I can get that knight to e4. Queen e4 lets my rook take back. Yeah, let's play queen e4. He's going to trade queens. Okay, so now he played g6. The idea is to stop the back rank trouble. What if I play knight d7 now? That was my idea. Knight d7 attacks his queen and attacks his bishop. Knight d7. What's he do? Give up the exchange? His queen's under attack. Okay, we'll see what happens. Okay, he took. Now I take with the rook. Okay, he played queen there. He's on my knight. My goodness. Knight on d2. And he's pinning me. So I've got to cover things. How do I cover that knight? My rook or my queen? If I cover it with my queen, he can pin me. With my rook, he can pin me. If I cover it with my queen, let's see. Queen, Queen D1. I need to move quickly here. Queen D1. Yeah, that also helps protect D3 a little bit. I think that's the safer move. Queen D1. Okay, he took with the king. Now, time to use the knight. It's going to head back to there and we'll see what happens. It's going to head back to B5. Try to get into play. Oh, wait, we don't want the chat room. Oh, let's see what's in the chat room. Not much in the chat room. Back to the game. Oops, wrong one. Okay. He did play H5. All right. Is he trying to play G4? Is he trying to activate his bishop? What if I check him? Check keeps his bishop bad. Check. If pawn takes, I take. He gets an open file that he can't use. Okay. I think that's the key. I think. Okay, check. Now I've got a new square for my knight, G3. Okay, he played B4. Where's got to put the knight somewhere. Let's see, I can put him in C2 or B5. Knight B5. I don't know, knight C2, where's its future? Could play B3. I'll put it on B5. Okay, he went back with his king. I've given him the F4 square, but I don't care about that. Let's get this knight back into play, or do you want to go E1? Where's it go next? Try to get it to F5. That'd be a good square. Let's keep him honest over here. Let's go after the pawns. Okay. Oh. Game over. Okay. So he missed a shot here. Let's take a quick look. Okay. Black has a reasonable game. What he did wrong was, see, he gave me the B5 square. That helped a little bit. And now I start transferring knights over. But what he missed was, this is just a simple little blunder that gives up the exchange. But he has compensation for it, and he found some good moves, and they're all on the video. And I'm trying to get some counterplay, but this gives up B4 and gave him some play, and I've got to be very, very careful. And oops, my move here. Okay, so now knight B5. Where else? Now we're going to try to get it into play on D6. Somehow we're trying to get it to D5. We'll figure from there. Will he let me? That is the question. Okay. He might have a blockade draw here. I don't know. It's fun it's a fun game for white to play. You're not losing. I need an open file. but I don't want his bishop getting active. Pawn takes, king takes. Knight h7 ties his rook down because the idea is to play to c8. And once it gets to c8, it's threatening to go to b6 and d5 for what it's worth. Knight a7. Let's finish off the notes here. So I'm overprotecting d3, and he's maneuvering, and I felt the correct way to do this was to offer the exchange back at some point. I had to make sure my queen didn't get trapped, and then the check for what it's worth, and another check. I get a pin, and I mentioned somehow that he could maybe put the rook on b7 and try to get the exchange off. Now, here, this just lost. Maybe he has to play king h7. No, he runs into knight d7. Queen f7, or no, rook f7. Make me play f4. And White's still got an advantage. But thanks for the game, Carlos. I'm going to close that one down. I got 2 left. Sir Speedy, he's bothering my pawn. Why didn't I see that? Now what do I play? b3? Ugh. Talk about tying things up. b3, yeah, that's horrible. That locks everything up. Entombs my bishop forever. What time do I have? 9 minutes. Nah, I can't play b3. What about queen b3? Queen b3 offers a queen trade. If he takes, I got some pressure on c5. Makes him back his queen up. And my knight's getting into play. Knight can go to d6. Queen b3, queen takes, knight takes, rook a8. Oh, then I have knight c7. Okay, I'm running out of time. Queen b3. Try to make this simple. Okay, now let's see. How do I get a knight to g4? By way of f2, d1, b2. How do I get to b2? Huh, I don't. Okay, by way of h2. I'm just thinking of taking, and the king takes. h3 to f2. Let's see, f2 to d1, b2 again. Pawn takes, king takes. Knight here, 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 e1, g2. That's a good knight, and I can't Can't get it to d5. So my move in the other game, I gotta watch the clock there. They play queen a5. Okay, for what it's worth, I can start getting my knight active. Play bishop d1 with the idea of queen a4. What about that idea? Oh no, wait. He's threatening rook takes. I got to do something with that knight. Okay, I see hope here. Okay, I got plenty of time here. I mean, I don't mind if these games end up in draws or I lose, but what's the point of taking a draw when it isn't a draw? You know, let's try to get some instruction out of this. What can I do? Let's see. I gotta open up that side of the board. Okay, king g7. Okay, now suddenly my knight has scope. Do I want to play knight f5? I don't know. What do I want to do? Threatens to get rid of that bishop that's bothering me over there on h4. And then if he takes, it opens up a square e4 for my knight. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, now just gonna have to try to Zugzwang him somehow. I'm not sure how. I got plenty of time to maneuver around and figure things out. I got to worry about this game. Rook h8. Well, knight takes. Darn. Knight takes h4. Get rid of that pest. Does it? Knight takes. Rook takes. I take. He takes with his g pawn. And is his queen threatening to penetrate? Let's see. I don't know. Rook. And bishop's not going anywhere. I don't have to take it now. Right? If I play bishop d1, does he play queen a1? Trying to penetrate with his queen. What do I do against that? Oh, discovery. Bishop c2. Chases queen back. I got this horrible bishop that I've been talking about, trying to improve it. I think this is the correct path. I can take the bishop on h4 at my leisure. Okay, so now let's just make him think for a minute. Knight h7. Trying to go to c8 so that I can get to b5 so I can get to d6, and he stopped me. Good move. Okay, let's come back. Attack your rook. We've done this before. Now, knight 3, c2, c, knight to 8. Let's get the knight to g4 by way of h2, by way of f1, by way of d2. Yeah, knight a3. Okay. Gotta get the knight to g4. Oh, we're getting anywhere. He'll probably block that too. Okay. This session is hitting the 3-hour mark. And there's 2 games left. Okay, rook f7. I want to say b1 to d2 to f1 to h3 to g4. Right? I got to play h3 at some point. So knight b1. See how much time do I have in this game. I'll accidentally lose on a time. I have 6 minutes. Okay, knight to d2. Make it your move again. Hey, I might get that knight to e4. You can see that. Well, you want to do that, huh? Okay, what are you threatening? Maybe I should have played h3. Oh, the reason I say h3 is because he might try g4. But if he tries g4, I get an outside pass pawn, right? And his rook can't penetrate. So I'll just decline the rook exchange and get my knight to e4. Okay, I have 6 minutes here. Okay, now knight e4. For what it's worth, I'm on a pawn. Hooray! Okay, my move. What's he threatening? To take my knight? Do I let him? That clears the square for my knight on c2. I mean d2. Right? So where do I take that critter? I don't know. I got 5 minutes to figure this out, but I gain 30 seconds every move. Don't want to take his knight. I can play queen a4 at some point too and try to get control of that file. Decisions. I don't mind if he takes because I gain a tempo. Let's see, he could take with the knight, I take with the pawn. He puts his bishop on f7. No, queen a4 I think is a good move. Attacks his queen. Okay, my move. Okay, he's guarded his pawns. Now let's just play h3 so he's not able to get g4 in. Now I try to get the knight to g4. Suppose I could have played knight f2 right away. Might not have been a bad move. Anyway, I have 4 minutes. Okay, so bishop d7. Now knight f2 attacks the pawn. By a discovery with the rook on e1. Now I'm trying to go knight g4. Okay, declined the queen trade. Now, can I penetrate with my queen? That's a good question. I don't know. I get the file. You know, I don't know. You know, just like, can't really penetrate with my queen. He's covering a8. I forgot about that. What about a move like b3? Just lock it up. Or what about now knight takes h4, and if he takes with pawn, he's got a pass pawn. But where's his pass pawn going? It's a good question. I'm running low at time. Yeah, let's take this thing off. Okay, now knight g4, and I'm threatening your pawn. Okay, took with the pawn. Now, how about if I get on the open file? Let's see. What can this knight do? Bishop c2 seems to sit. They play king g5, so his rook is free. I'm tempted to play rook h or rook a1 here in a second. Yeah. And what am I threatening here? Threatening rook take, or I'm threatening. That's his move. He played king g5. Okay. Like I said, now do I play rook a1? He checks. I put my king on h2. Isn't he in trouble? Isn't he in any trouble there? Well, I have the file. I don't think so. I think I can play rook a1 here. Okay. Now he played bishop f6. So close to a combination here. Knight h6 check. And where does he go? Nowhere. The question is, can I zugzwang him here? Make him run out of moves? What if I just play rook e2? His bishop can go back to g7 or h8. Yeah, I don't see any. I don't know how to make progress in. Oops, wrong one. Don't know how to make progress in either of these games. What have I got? 4 wins and out of 4. How do I win this? I mean, I got this horrible bishop. Ugh. But his H pawn is weak. H3 check, king H2 ties his rook down, and my queen gets active. I don't know, I'm getting kind of tired of playing. Okay, bishop G7. Now I bluff with rook H4. Rook H4. Rook H2, bishop there. Knight takes, king takes, H4, pawn takes, rook takes, king takes. He has a tempo move. What if I send the knight back to B5 now? Let's try that. I mean, I don't know what else to try here. Yeah, he may have a draw. I don't know who's winning this. I have this horrible bishop. Okay, so that knight's going to B5 again. Did you know that? Watch him run. He's going to B5. I guess you'll just set things back up as they were, if you can. Wait a minute. He's kind of stuck there. Knight D1, B2. How did I get to... Okay, knight A3. Got to get him to D2. Got to get him to F1. How did he get there? My goodness. I'm putting him B2 just blindly. Okay, let's figure out how did I get the knight there. I have to look at the score sheet. That's legal. Okay, let's see. Knight A3 to B1 to D2. So I got to get to D2. And then from D2 he went to E4. Oh, so I got to get him back to E4. That's right. Okay. Knight E4. Just going the wrong way. Okay, queen D6. What's he trying to do? Let's play queen A6 here and try and trade things off. What am I missing? Knight C6. I'm just running out of time. Bishop A4 coming next. Okay, so knight here. Now, knight C6. Do I play bishop A4? I think I do. That ties him up a little bit. Okay, so now I put the bishop back. Now I go to D2. Okay, now I covered it with his rook. Okay, what do I do now? If I just open up the file, I've got a pin on that knight, just open up the file. Bishop B5, that makes a certain amount of funny logic. I got to make sure he doesn't sacrifice on G4 at some point. Okay, bishop F8. Now I go to B1. See, I'm coming back to B5. Will your rook get back there in time to stop me? I don't know if I can get anywhere if I get to D5, but I want to try it. Okay. Oops, wrong one. So I got 2 games left. I've got him in a pin. What if bishop takes G4? Ugh. Pawn takes queen E6. He gets a lot of checks. Okay, knight a3. Let's see if I'm getting anywhere. I don't know if I'm getting anywhere, but I'm going to try. Okay, bishop d7. Now what? b3. I gotta watch out. That he's trying to put his queen on h6. Okay. Queen h6, queen h4, and I was in trouble. Maybe. Just don't have enough time to sort it out. I want to play b3. Of course, his king's a little vulnerable here. I always wanted to trade off that bishop. What if I do? Trade queens. I've got the open file. Yeah, I'll just take it. I'm running out of time. Okay. He's going to get that rook back. Now, knight b5. See what happens. Okay, took with the rook. Now where do I put my queen? b7. If this bishop's pinned, my queen starts checking. My rook's getting ready to penetrate. Okay, he's back to there. Now, there's a little difference. The difference is, number one, I can go bother this pawn, king g4. Is that enough of a difference? I don't know. Okay, rook c7, queen d5. Queen d5. Gosh, my queen's so close to being active. I can pin that rook with queen b8. Queen b8 threatens checks. Queen d5. He takes. I take. I got a square for my knight. I've got control of the open file. Who's beeping me? Somebody wants to be my friend. Let's see. Queen d5 I like. Queen d5. If he takes, yeah, I'm getting my queen active. I mean, my knight, all of a sudden my knight gets squares and h4 may be a weakness and I've got control of the file. Okay. What's happening in this other game? Okay, guard the pawn with the rook. Now I want to play knight here to a7 with the idea of going to c8. And b6. And then I can get to d5 finally. That's what I'm trying to do forever. I don't know if it's working. Okay. 3 minutes. What if I just start checking him? I can send my rook down there. Rook down. Rook a8. Threatens a rook check or queen check right now. Which one's better? I got 2 minutes to figure it out. Well, I like the rook down there. It just threatens an extra check. Okay, I just don't have enough time. Let me see. 2 minutes. Yeah, close to 2 minutes. Okay. Is it my move here? Now, knight b6. Or knight c8. He plays bishop d8. Now how's my knight get out? Well, we'll find out. Okay, now he's on my queen. Where's my queen go? I pin him, I guess. Okay. Yeah, bishop d8. Well, I just can't get that knight to d5. Not that I'm uncertain it, or certain it does me any good. So, we make a waiting move. Rook e4. Now what's he play? Rook f7? If I play rook e1, plays bishop d6. No, I mean bishop c7. Where's my rook? I don't know. I'm going to put it on a8. That way it'll go back to the right square. Okay, knight a7. Wait, make sure it's not my move here. I don't want to lose this game on time. No, it's my move. I should just offer a draw. I'm happy with draws on both of these. I can't see any way to make progress here. I'm just running too short a time here. You know, and I don't care if I draw. What's the big deal? I have no ego. Okay, I'm pinning this bishop. It's his move. No, I'm not really pinning it. He can move it. Yeah, I'm just going to offer him a draw. You have a draw here if you want one. Okay, now let's see. Oops, what am I going to do here? Wrong game. Okay, I've offered a draw. Does he want it? Now, where do I make progress? I'm going to have to get the bishop off this diagonal. Yeah, I'm just going to, if the other guy takes it, I'll offer this one, because I'm not making any progress. Let me just send the knight back and see if he gets confused. Okay, knight a7. Let's get this simul over. The video is 3 hours and 20 minutes. Oh, wrong one. Okay. You have a draw for if you notice it. Okay. Now the knight goes here. Maybe I try to get it to f5. There's a new square for it. It won't let me get to f5. Okay, it's heading back to where it came. Okay, b1 to d2. He's going to check me. Okay, fine. Check me. I think he took a draw here. Okay, good. Game over. Wow. Okay. Back I go. Now, got some time. This game, well played. I ended up really being behind in time here. I don't know why, but I was. Okay, now we go back to here. Should I offer him a draw soon? Well, if I can't make any progress, I need to. But that other game was making me nervous. I was running, just sitting there with too low time, and I don't care if I draw these games. I mean, if I can't make any progress, of course, you know, let's try this. Let's give him a rook trade. The point is that if he trades rooks, it's the last winning a try. If he trades rooks, I get control of g4, and then I can move my knight around again. It's the last winning try. So, what happened here? Like I say, this is a game I had a tough time with this one. Okay, don't really remember it because I was playing the same opening. Okay, there's my first moves. Now Kept c3 covered. I got c4, and because I was just fumbling for moves, I didn't move the f-pawn because I didn't want to weaken the dark squares. Now I did. I weakened the dark squares and missed that. And now he tries to open it up. And instead of king h8, what about queen h4? I didn't even think about that move. Maybe I'm in trouble. Anyway, he still could have done it. And now I just get this crummy game. He blocks that. Oh, that's his move. Okay, he didn't take. Well, now I'm going to take e4 from you. Let's see. Rook g4. Rook g4. Rook takes, pawn takes. Take with the h pawn or g pawn. Drives his king back. Let's see, rook g4. He's not forced to take my rook, but if he does, I can take with the g pawn or f pawn. Now my king can get to e4. And I can start maneuvering the knight. I mean, I could sit down and take more time on this, but it's not that important. I'm trying to, I'm not making any progress any other way. Rook g4. Then maybe I can force him to see, he's guarding the h4 square. I'm trying to force him backward, and if I can get my king into e4, that king suddenly becomes very valuable. I got the better knight, but he's holding it. So no rush yet for the draw. I don't mind giving him one. I'm glad the other game's over with. My God. Did I finish talking about it? Let's see. No, I didn't, because he moved. It's the kind of position that all of a sudden, if black penetrates on the queen side, we did it again. Okay, now, let's see, where did my knight come from? It came from d. So we pressure the pawn on c5. And I still have e4 for my king. Eventually, if he trades rooks, I'm going to take with the f-pawn and get. Let's finish the case moving. Okay, he didn't do it. Whoops. Now let's see. How do I make heads or tails of this? We come back here with the king and threaten a fork. See, the threat's knight g3 check is the threat. Okay, now we drive his king out. Knight g3 check. .130. Okay. Okay, now the question is, what happens if I take his knight? Take his rook. Rook takes, he takes. I want to be able to play f4. Let's see. Rook takes, pawn takes. He's on my knight. Where'd my knight come from? e4? I can't win this. Who am I kidding here? Sure like to find a way to win this, but I don't think it's there. Knight e4. That's where I came. I can take his rook. He takes with the h pawn. Then I play knight e4. If he's not going to take my rook, I'm going to keep it. I don't know, rook e4. If he takes, I take with the knight. No, I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm just going to rook takes, pawn takes, knight here, king e4. How do I attack his h pawn? Rook e4. He either takes my rook on g4 or he doesn't. Maybe now's the time to send the knight back to b5. Let's try that. Okay. So he got there by way of e4. Then he takes my rook. But I keep keeping him out of g4. Yeah, my king gets, or keeping him out of f5. Okay. Knight e4. I'm just going to offer a draw. I don't see how to win it. You can have a draw. You didn't want it. Okay, fine. You didn't accept the draw? I had to make you play it out. Okay. Yeah, let's just get it over with. Okay, no big problem. Thanks for the game. If you made it through all 3.5 hours of this video, you earn the All Rats Special Student Award, given only today. It was a fun and simul, kind of grueling, 3.5 hours on my part, and some of yours too. If you didn't get a game, give more soon. Anyway, I'm going to end this video. I will upload it on YouTube. You don't need to know that because it'll be up on YouTube before you know it. Anyway, so let's just do a quick commentary on this one. Let's see. Yeah, I did a mouse slip in here. I'm not faulting the result on that. I planned something else. When I played c4. Well, let's see. I didn't even commenting here. The game's about even. They're always even, as I say. Here I deliberately didn't take on f5 to develop his piece, but I forced the light squared bishops off. I was happy with that. And here I was starting to get the better of the game. And, simply because I own the white squares and he owns the light squares, or dark squares. But yeah, c4. I was intending knight d2 here. Now, can he play d5 and, I don't know. I guess I'm not threatening knight c4 because he would have d5. So I didn't really get a chance to look at it. But after this, I just didn't find ways. I kept maneuvering and maneuvering and maneuvering this way, that way. He found a way to get the queens off. Maybe I should have tried to prevent that. Didn't when you're playing a few games. But my last try was if he took on on g4, and that gives my king an entry point, e4, but I'm still not sure if it's winning. And he's keeping me out of ever getting that knight to d5, although even though if I get that knight to d5, I don't know what I do. Anyway, it was fun. Okay. I'll upload video and you can find it on my channel. Okay, thanks everybody for playing. That ends this one. Until the next simul, take care.